We all hear it constantly, right? Exercise is good for you. It's like basic health advice.
Absolutely. It's a given.
But when you stop and think, what's really going on inside? What makes lifting that weight or going for that run actually, work for our muscles, our bones, our longevity? It's complex stuff.
It really is. It's this whole biochemical cascade.
Okay, so let's unpack this today. We're doing a deep dive into some pretty groundbreaking science. It's based on a recent research paper that's identified this key protein, or sort of messenger, really. And it seems to be a major piece of the puzzle for why exercise translates into those health benefits we always talk about.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, what really caught my eye is this protein called CLCF1.
CLCF1.
Cardiotrophin-like cytokine factor 1. Quite a mouthful.
Yeah, let's maybe stick with CLCF1.
Good idea.
Yeah.
But the research points to it being absolutely central. It seems to mediate, carry the signal for those health benefits, especially when we think about our muscles and bones as we get older. Musculoskeletal aging.
So it's helping us understand the fundamental why. Not just exercise is good, but why it's good at that biological level.
Exactly, the mechanics behind it.
Okay, so mediating health benefits. That sounds important. Can you maybe break down what CLCF1 actually is? You mentioned it's a protein. Maybe start with this idea of a myokine.
Sure. So think of myokines as messengers. Your muscles release these proteins during exercise or just after.
Okay. So muscles aren't just contracting, they're communicating.
Precisely. They're sending signals.
Yeah.
And CLCF1 is one of these specific myokines. The research suggests its main job is supporting muscle strength, bone strength too, and really crucially, actively helping to slow down that aging process in our musculoskeletal system.
Wow. So it's like an internal anti-aging signal, specifically triggered by getting active.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. Triggered by movement.
And connecting this to the bigger picture. This discovery helps us understand these really fundamental biological processes, doesn't it? Who is actually behind this work?
Right. It wasn't just stumbled upon. This was a serious joint research effort. It was led by Dr. Young Ryle Yang from KRIBB, that's the Korea Research Institute of Bioscience and Biotechnology, working closely with Professor Naksung Kim at Chonnam National University.
Okay, a collaboration.
And it's that kind of combined expertise that allowed them to pinpoint CLCF1 and its role. It really pushes our understanding forward.
Now, this next finding, this is where it gets really interesting, especially thinking about, getting older. The paper showed a pretty stark difference in how CLCF1 responds depending on age, right?
It did. A very clear difference.
Like for younger people, the study found that after just one session of exercise, boom, CLCF1 levels shot up significantly.
With an immediate boost.
Yeah, a powerful, almost instant biological thumbs up from the body.
Right. But, and this is the kicker, especially for maybe you or me or anyone not, in their early 20s, for the older adults in the study, that immediate boost just wasn't there. Nothing after one session.
Really? So what did happen?
It was much more of a slow burn. They only saw an increase in CLCF1 levels after they'd been doing consistent exercise for more than 12 weeks.
12 weeks. Wow. So definitely no quick fixes there if you're older.
None at all. It highlights the need for consistency.
That age difference is, it's pretty striking. Does this mean we need to fundamentally rethink how we approach exercise later in life, like beyond just saying keep moving?
Well, it certainly raises some important questions, doesn't it, about the biological reality of aging and exercise.
Yeah.
And this finding, it's actually quite significant because it's the first real scientific evidence that identifies these changes in protein secretion, specifically CLCF1, as a major reason why exercise might feel or actually be less effective as we age.
So it helps explain that feeling. It's not just subjective. There's a measurable biological shift happening.
Exactly. It's not just a vague, I'm older. There's a specific mechanism involving this protein.
Okay, but the researchers didn't just observe this difference. They tested it further, right? In the lab with mice.
They did. They moved to experiments with aged mice to really nail down CLCF1's role.
Then what happened there?
Well, first, they actually gave CLCF1 directly to some aged mice. And the results were pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Those mice showed greater muscle strength and higher bone density compared to controls.
Okay, that sounds very promising. But playing devil's advocate, are there potential downsides? Is it always safe just adding proteins?
That's a really important question and definitely something for future research, side effects, dosage, delivery, all that. But what this study focused on was proving CLCF1's necessity.
Okay. How do they do that?
They did the opposite experiment. They took another group of aged mice,
Yeah.
let them exercise, but this time they blocked the activity of CLCF1.
Wow.
And the exercise had no positive effect. None. No improvement in muscle or bone.
Wow. So switch off CLCF1 and the benefits of exercise just disappear.
Vanished, yeah. It really confirms that this protein isn't just helpful. It's apparently essential for the body to adapt positively to the exercise, at least in these aged models.
Essential. That really drives home its importance.
It underscores that direct, necessary role.
And they even figured out how it works at the cellular level, the mechanisms.
They did. They dug into the molecular details. What's fascinating is how precise it is.
Go on.
So, in muscle cells, CLCF1 seems to improve mitochondrial function.
The powerhouses of the cell, right, keeping the energy up.
Exactly. Crucial for muscle health and performance. And then in bone, it does two things.
Okay.
It puts the brakes on the cells that break down old bone. Those are called osteoclasts. And at the same time, it encourages the cells that build new bone, the osteoblasts, to get to work.
So it's tackling bone loss from both sides, slowing the breakdown and boosting the building.
Precisely. A dual action for maintaining bone strength.
Okay, let's pull this all together then. So what does this all mean? For you, listening right now, and maybe for the future of how we approach healthy aging, this research feels important because it's not just saying exercise is good, it's giving us a biological blueprint for how it works, and crucially, a reason why it might get harder or less effective as the years go by.
Exactly right. And that's what Dr. Yang, one of the lead researchers, really emphasized. This discovery lays some critical groundwork.
Groundwork for what?
For potentially developing completely new ways to support healthy aging. Think about therapeutic strategies.
Lab treatments.
Potentially, yes. If we understand CLCF1's role, maybe we can find ways to boost its signal or mimic its effects. This could open up new avenues for tackling really debilitating age-related conditions.
Like muscle loss, sarcopenia.
Exactly, sarcopenia.
Yeah.
And also osteoporosis, that severe bone loss that leads to fractures. Finding ways to combat those would be huge.
That is huge potential. And this isn't old news, right? This was published very recently.
Very recently, May 22nd, 2025, in Nature Communications. So it's really cutting-edge stuff.
So to kind of wrap it up, CLCF1 emerges as this key molecular translator. It takes the physical act of your workout and turns it into resilience within your aging body. It's like a biological bridge connecting movement to muscle and bone health, explaining why that connection isn't static, but changes quite dramatically as we age.
Well said. It highlights that dynamic, age-dependent conversation between exercise and our biology.
So looking ahead, what's the final thought you'd leave us with?
Well, just imagine, maybe, a future where this kind of understanding, knowing about proteins like CLCF1, doesn't just help us live longer lives, but helps us live healthier, more active lives deep into old age.
Maintaining strength and mobility.
Exactly. Could we develop ways, maybe through targeted therapies or even optimized exercise regimes based on this knowledge, to keep our bodies vibrant and functional for decades longer? What possibilities does that spark for you thinking about how we might really enhance our health span, not just our lifespan?